Hundreds of COVID-19 testing sites have been shut down across the country, including here in the Bay Area. The company that runs them is under investigation in several states.
It's accused of sending false results, delayed results, or sometimes no results at all. KTVU investigative reporter Brooks DeRose is here now. And Brooks, you spoke with some former employees who say that sometimes these tests were sitting in trash bags for over a week.
Yeah, we have some pictures. They're really hard to believe. The name of the company is called Center for COVID Control, and ex-employees tell me they were forced to fake dates, lie, or send out inaccurate results. Now, those accusations are laid out in several lawsuits now, and the California Attorney General is now investigating customer complaints about missing test results and concerns about their accuracy.
They came in like garbage bags, just filled with tests, and we would count them on the floor. There'd be no organization to it.
Check out these photos taken by employees with Center for COVID Control who describe bags of biowaste, boxes of PCR tests, and a processing mess. They estimate nearly 10,000 samples coming in each day, all piling up inside the company's headquarters in Rolling Meadows, Illinois.
Everything was sent to us from across the country. So we would receive thousands of tests from out of state.
Former worker Shayna Lang says she became concerned when bosses would tell her to change collection testing dates and process unrefrigerated, sometimes weeks-old tests.
I was horrified because we are sending out basically results that aren't going to be accurate for people, and I take it personally.
Customer complaints came amid the holidays with unprecedented demand and climbing cases. Center for COVID Control was rapidly expanding its testing sites. By last year, advertising hundreds of locations, including at least 8 in California. And we found half of those right here in the Bay Area.
We were opening up new locations all the time. So it got to a point where it got chaotic, and we could no longer, even when we had a room of our own, have room to count the tests. There were bags and bags of tests everywhere. Whether they were stored correctly or not, there were too many of them.
Ex-employee Michael Pino says the company's partnering lab, Doctors Clinical Laboratory, is nothing more than a front. Side by side, swabs came to these joint offices, where he says proper handling wasn't happening.
We didn't have enough supplies to do our job. We didn't have enough masks or gloves, and nobody seemed to care.
The company's owners did not respond to our repeated emails and calls for comment. California's Attorney General just sent a letter demanding they provide evidence the company is in compliance with the state's lab licensing and testing requirements. Last month, the Washington State Attorney General sued, claiming deceptive or unlawful practices, including allegations employees were told to lie to customers about results and instructed to mark them as uninsured even if they weren't, while billing the federal government for their tests.
They would get money back from the PCR tests. And they took advantage of that by expanding and expanding, even though they knew we were already drowning and already, overworking our employees.
Records show Doctors Clinical Laboratory has received more than $140 million in testing reimbursements. While the lab does have federal certification, California's Department of Public Health says it doesn't have a state lab license or registration, and says neither does Center for COVID Control, which is required of any place that tests specimens originating in California. CDPH confirming it's investigating both businesses. Many customers say they were surprised to find pop-up centers across the country closed in early January, including Amos Jenkins, who visited this Sacramento site.
I thought it was legit.
The company calling it a pause to train additional staff on sample collection and handling, customer service, and communications best practices, as well as compliance with regulatory guidelines. Late last year, federal inspectors found failures surrounding samples and storage, the same problems the former workers told us about.
They were completely not cold. They were not stored properly. They were not even labeled properly.
Since then, we've learned the FBI has served a search warrant at the main offices. Minnesota's Attorney General has also filed a lawsuit for failing to report results, including to the state. But as workers told us, even they don't know what's what and admit many customers received false negatives. Cold comfort for customers like Jenkins.
It said negative, and I thought it was okay, so I don't know what to think now.
I thought that we were just in over our heads, and there was no coming back at this point.
Center for COVID Control now says all locations are closed indefinitely. The Washington State AG called the sites sham testing centers that couldn't keep up with demand. California's AG says if any testing sites are making false claims or fail to meet turnaround times or even steal personal information, the company will be held accountable. Of course, time will tell with that investigation.
Absolutely.
Eye-opening stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.